does it really blow ass?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. What started out as gag drawings between buds Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird went on to become a pop culture juggernaut that's gone on strong for over 30 years and shows no signs of slowing. 3 major comic book series, 3 different cartoons, a slew of video games, 5 theatrically released films. So it's kind of ridiculous to say all of that is now undone just because the last one had Michael Bay on as a co-producer. Not in the director's chair, as a co-producer. I wouldn't say that Michael Bay is one of the best minds in the movie-making business, but come on. Is your hate for this guy so blinding that you must envision he's out to purposely wreck a beloved franchise?
Oh God, what have you done to me? What have you done?
Seriously, Turtles is ruined forever because of this movie? I guess no one told IDW Publishing about that, as those comics are still coming out, including a recent Ghostbusters crossover. A bone thrown to those also whining about lugging proton packs now being a girl thing. And I guess no one told Nickelodeon either. Every time I turn around, more and more episodes keep getting ordered for the channel. And all this ranting and raving that ensued after the movie's release, well, let's not get into what went on 2 years before it hit. All that stuff about, well...
Who are these mystery turtles? Could they be aliens from another planet?
And what's all this about our childhoods being ruined? There's more to one's childhood than what cartoons you watched. Maybe you're all saying that this movie emits suck-ass waves that'll erase all the stuff on my other Turtles DVDs or something. All these look fine, haven't spontaneously combusted or anything. This one's playing just fine, despite having been kept in close proximity to my Turtles 2014 copy for a while. Same for my copy of the original movie. What about my copy of Ninja Turtles 4? Let's see, boogity 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 boogity. Nope, game's still working just fine. So dare I say all this talk about Turtles 2014 wrecking the franchise forever is a bunch of bloated rhetoric? Maybe, when it comes to passing judgment on this movie, cooler heads should prevail. So when I took a vacation a month ago, I brought my copy to show a friend, Twilight Prince 123, who never saw it before, and it was my first time seeing the whole thing again since viewing it in the theater. Okay, so during my stay here, I brought the DVD of Ninja Turtles 2014. You said from the previews it just didn't look like the Turtles you remember. It looks like it is kind of Turtles, but it isn't, and now you've seen the movie, and what do you think?
Well, personally, as you said, when I first heard about it and the fact that it was being co-produced by Michael Bay, I was just expecting, oh, explosions, 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 explosions.
But there was, yeah, but there was actually more explosions in the Ninja Turtles 4 game than there was in this movie.
True that. So basically, it's like, okay, from what friends told me, they said it wasn't half bad, but like it was tolerable, but at the same time, it didn't quite have a lot of its charm. Now that I've actually seen the movie, I'd be like, okay, maybe it didn't quite hold up to like some of the original 2 movies, like, you know, the third one never existed. And I don't know. Pretty much, I could definitely say it was alright. It was definitely an alright movie. Definitely quite a few throwbacks to like old school Ninja Turtle fans as well.
Yeah, I could go through this and just... That was what I liked about it. If you were really paying attention, if you really had a sharp eye, you could pick like where they got certain influences for certain parts. It's like I could go down the list.
Like that ninja book that was written by
Eastman and Laird, and
exactly,
and all sorts of other things. It's like also the original comics. The original comics were incredibly gritty and violent, but also were meant to parody all sorts of comics from the time, especially anything done by Frank Miller. And it had that, and this was like tried to be gritty and goofy at the same time. And then from the 1987 cartoon, of course,
Tonight We Dine on Turtle Soup.
Not only that, every version since that has kept the multicolored headbands so you can tell them apart. And we had April Reporter. She wore yellow. Not a jumpsuit, but at least a jacket.
Yeah.
And they even brought back Channel 6 News with
Vernon.
Vern, yeah, you were surprised when I pointed out, hey, that's Vern.
I'm like, what?
Plus a gender and race flipped Vern Thompson. Now from the 1990 movie, you had stuff like the slice of pizza falling on Splinter's head. I
saw that and I was just like, whoop. Kids.
Yeah, and from the 2003 series, you had Shredder with power armor, and if you look closely, you even see the foot emblem from that series on his chest.
I don't think I actually saw that, but yeah, that's definitely the power armor, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even catch that until I brought it home on Blu-ray. And then from the 2012 series, it's like, the first time you see Shredder in the 2012 series, he's kind of in shadow, and you get a sense that he's got all sorts of burns and scars, just like in this one.
Yep.
And then, of course, the big one is the IDW comics. All of you people who are wondering, where the fuck did they get the idea of April knowing the Turtles and the Splinter before they mutated? That's where it comes from.
See, I did not actually know about that because when I saw that, I was starting to piece together. I'm like, wait a minute. So she actually knew the Turtles back when they were actually Turtles, as well as Splinter. And Splinter was not actually, a Japanese person fused together with a rat.
Well, it's my personal belief that because of fan outcry, the second one will have it so that it turns out that, yes, Splinter was a rat owned by Hamato Yoshi. Because in the 2003 cartoon series, in the 3-part intro, when Splinter is telling April their story, Hamato Yoshi doesn't come up. He's mentioned a lot later. So I think they're going to do the same thing here. Just don't try to throw everything about the mythos in the first movie. Because they're saving Rocksteady and Bebop and Casey Jones for the next one as well.
Go Casey. Yep. So, yeah, I would definitely say overall, the movie was definitely not bad. Quite a lot of nods to old school Ninja Turtles fans, and yeah, I would honestly say it's a pretty acceptable movie. I mean, it won't be as timeless as the classic movies that I grew up with, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Secret of the Ooze, but it certainly definitely has a good spot in my book.
Yeah, I pretty much share the same opinion. It's definitely inferior to the 1990 original and kind of hovers on the same level of Turtles 2. That one hasn't stood the test of time very well.
And Turtles 3 never existed.
Yeah. For people who thought this was actually going to be worse than Turtles 3, what were you smoking? I mean,
then again, there was...
It's your hate for Michael Bay blinds you that much.
Or has the explosions blinded them?
Well, there hardly were any in this movie.
Yeah, I count only maybe 2, mostly.
Okay, my problems with the movie actually don't stem from, well, not as much as Michael Bay's penchant for explosions and over-the-topness. I did have some...
There were some over-the-top moments, but...
Oh, like the sliding down...
Like, the entire sliding down the snowy slope.
But that was at least creative.
Yeah.
Okay, my problems were just like... Michael Bay stuff tends to be a lot of bombast, a lot of in-your-face stuff, but I missed the subtlety for Splinter and Shredder. It's like, we got to see Splinter fighting, using his tail. That was cool.
I've never honestly ever seen Splinter use his tail, maybe outside of some of the cartoons, but actually live action? Nope.
Yeah, but I could have done without that. It's like the Obi-Wan thing going on in the original movie. It's like the subtlety to his wisdom. It's like being the quiet but stern mentor. And then just Shredder just walking onto the screen and just not really doing much, but you just knew he was bad news. As opposed to him when you first see him in armor, it's like what the nostalgic critic called penis envy Shredder. And just starts going at it.
So, I don't know if you ever actually saw the other TMNT movie or not.
And the 2007 one, no, I haven't.
You know what, we should probably actually watch that one before you leave. Because I do have it. It's in that little collection of all 3 of the originals plus that one.
Perhaps, but... Oh yeah, I was going about the things that really kind of bothered me about this movie. Well, April being shorter than the Turtles, it does kind of ruin the image of her being their big sister, and the fact that they went with the storyline where she knew them beforehand, it really kind of throws it out of whack. And what else was there that bothered me?
I think pretty much the only thing that kind of threw me for a bit of a loop was the fact that you eventually told me it wasn't TGRI, but TCRI.
I think it always was that. I'm not sure what it was in the original comics, but...
Because I remember it being TGRI in Secret of the Ooze.
Well, most versions has it as TCRI. The 2003 series, the 2012 series, and I'm pretty sure maybe the IDW comics, I'm not sure. But the biggest problem I think I had from a fan standpoint is the Eric Sachs character, played by William Finster, who we thought was going to be Shredder, but turned out being like his underling. There was no point to this character. They should have just used Baxter Stockman and given Karai more time. It's like, okay, they were trying to do something different, wow us with a new character, but the problem was, he didn't wow me at all. It's like, they could have just given the fans what they wanted, had Baxter Stockman in that role, and had Karai be the one raised by Shredder and have undying loyalty to him. Mm-hmm. Whereas, I didn't even know Baxter Stockman was in this movie until it was mentioned later. He's like behind, like in the background somewhere. I'm still not sure where this movie he pops up. And Karai, they really didn't give her much to do.
Yeah, she just kind of just ordered people around and then ran after the turtles in the last bit down the slope, and then I would say presumably she's just out of commission for a little bit, but I wouldn't say she's dead.
And they didn't even yeah, okay. It's like saving the revelation about Hamato Yoshi, about Splinter being his pet rat for the next movie. That I can handle, but there was nothing between him and Leo. That's kind of, even the 1987 cartoon did that, when she wasn't even called Karai then, and had no connection to Shredder. She was called
like Lotus or something?
Yeah. Even that showed that she had some sort of weird bond with Leo. Here we get nothing except her shooting one of the tasers at him.
Yeah. I guess that's what you call tainted love, or should we say taser love?
Yeah. So losing the subtlety with Splinter and Shredder, and going with this Eric Sachs guy instead of giving us Baxter Stockman and Karai in a way that fans would expect.
Yeah.
Those are my only big beefs. Otherwise,
I think it was still a pretty solid movie otherwise.
Yeah, and I'm going to say the unthinkable here. Megan Fox was the best live-action April we've had yet. If only because they gave her material to work with. They had it so her character confronted Shredder twice. She was throwing herself in the mix, and say what you will about her acting ability, but Megan Fox does the shocked shitless look pretty good.
Just like that?
Yeah, and when you're confronting 6-foot talking turtles, that's pretty much
I
how
think
you're
they were
supposed to react.
I think they were edging more towards 7 almost. I don't know. I'm not good with my height differences.
Yeah, it's like, I confess, when I first saw the trailer, I was put off by that. I was like, what? But after a while, they're tolerable. But why I think I like these turtles more than in the 1991 is because they let the characters shine more. In the original...
Donnie had glasses for one thing.
No. In the original, about Donnie, they really didn't play off his smartness. All you saw was him repairing a truck with Casey Jones. He was more there for a comedy, like a comedy partner for Michelangelo to play off of. They were like a duo that played off each other. Yeah, in this one, they had their own distinct personalities, and Michelangelo was funny.
Oh God, was he ever hilarious? I'm just like, Mikey, never change. Just never change.
Well, he's nowhere near as incompetent as his 1987 self.
Certainly not, but he was still, like, humorous to a fault. Also, on top of that, I have to say that despite the fact that in the original 1987 like cartoon, that Vernon was just kind of like an upstart reporter and all that stuff, thinking that he was better than everyone. In this one, yeah, he kind of started off with that, but then he did his nice little badass moment when he took out that guy.
I have a microscope and I know how to use it.
Fear the microscope.
As someone who has to work with microscopes every day he goes to work, I'm impressed. I never thought of using a microscope that way.
Hey, anything can be a good bludgeoning tool if you put good use to it.
Yeah, but so I felt the Turtles' personalities really were able to shine through a bit better than the 1991, except that they really didn't develop as much into Raph's loner anger management issues and Leo's stress with being a leader and guiding the Turtles. I guess they figured, like, okay, we've been through so many versions of Turtles, you know where these two characters stand, we're going to have them be the way they are, but we're not going to delve too much of it. And if I could mention one other flaw. It's like it was like Dark Knight, as in it was one pace only, just speeding through things.
Yeah, I admit it was a bit of a fast-paced movie. I mean, I didn't mind it, but I noticed they kind of like cut to the chase a little bit too quickly. Like, for me, a good balance for a movie is like half the movie is build up and the other half is the climax. This one was pretty much just like, okay, it built up for a little bit and then all of a sudden the last 3/4 of the movie was just all like action, climax.
Well, to its credit, it's a bit longer before you see the turtles completely in this one. And this time, April has to do a little investigating herself before Splinter tells her everything. So there was that. But it's like you're trying to do Dark Knight pacing in a movie that's just 2 hours instead of 2.5 hours. There was very few opportunities to just take it all in. The movie didn't slow down enough for you to just kind of take in the awesomeness it wants you to see. So that's one of the few flaws I had with it, other than, of course, not really showcasing Baxter Stockman and Karai and Splinter and Shredder losing a lot of their subtle awesomeness. So,
but
all
in all, it was pretty good.
For 2 years, I made a point of calling out all the people whining and moaning and bitching before even concept art was leaked, and telling them just, shut the fuck up.
Like,
I
distinctly remember, like, at one point, Michael Bay was even thinking about, like, making the Turtles actual aliens. I'm just like, what? No!
I knew that was bullshit from the beginning. I said it before and I said it again. The Turtles have always had an alien origin. This was just the first time it was really showcased in a film. And even then, it was just only a passing mention by little girl April.
Who is freaking adorable, may I add.
Okay. Now, what was I going to say? Well, anyway, I kept saying, I'm going to march in opening day and proudly buy a ticket, no matter what all you whiners say.
Pretty much the same you did with Metroid Other M, huh?
No, the whining only started after that came out. This was, like, well before the movie. And I didn't end up seeing it opening day because I had to work that weekend. But I saw it the following week on a Wednesday, and I went in, I saw my old childhood heroes on the big screen again, had some fun. There were a lot of interesting bits, and then it ended with the credits with the rap song that got stuck in my head, and I left the theater pretty much satisfied. Giving this a score, I give it a 7.5 out of 10.
I would pretty much say that's pretty much where it stands equally.
Yeah. Not the greatest movie, not a masterpiece, but it was entertaining, and I'm actually eager to see where they go from here. Yeah. What do you want to see in the next one? I want to see, again, make it so that Splinter is actually Hamato Yoshi's pet rat. Have April begin ninjutsu training. Yes, Megan Fox as a fucking ninja. Yes, we should see that. Get over it.
I mean, come on. She was a fighter in Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters. I mean, why not?
Not to mention, she's undergoing ninja training in the 2012 series, and she even has her own distinctive weapon.
I would probably think that if they were going to do it, to introduce Krang, also like try to form Dimension X in some sort of way. I don't know.
I think it's rumored that they're trying to think of that, but Krang might be something you just build up to Dimension X, as opposed to the 2012 series where they're the starter villain.
Yeah.
But we're getting Rocksteady and Bebop. We're getting Casey Jones. There's a lot of potential here, and again, Michael Bay is not on set. He's not behind the camera. He's not like Stan Lee in that he makes a cameo in every single Marvel movie. Well, he made a cameo in his first Transformers movie. He was the guy that Megatron flicked away.
Oh. But yeah.
So yeah, this really can't be compared to the over-the-topness of Transformers. It does make an honest effort to be more than just mindless action, and for that I respect it, and I'm glad I went to see it in theaters and got the Blu-ray later.
And I'm likewise glad that you actually let me have a shot to take a look at it and get my own personal opinion of it.
Alright, so we're agreed 7.5 out of 10?
7.5. 7.5 sounds pretty solid.